This is the story about Abram, or Abraham as he became known. But we'll get to that later. Abram lived a very long time ago in a place called Haran. He was a good man. He believed in God. One day God spoke to Abram. "Go," said God. "Go away from your country, away from your wider family, away from everyone and everything you know well." "I don't understand," said Abram. "Why can't I stay here with my friends and the people that I know?" "Because," said God, "I'm going to make you a very important person. You will have a big family with lots of children. You will be famous. Good things will happen to you, and you will be blessed." "Oh, that sounds good," thought Abram. "And," God continued, "if people like you, they will be blessed too. But if they don't like you, they will be cursed. In fact, everyone on earth will be blessed because you will be blessed." "Wow," said Abram, because really, what else could he say? Although it meant having to leave his family home, Abram did what God told him. Abram was told to go, so he went. He was 75 years old when he left Haran, but he took his wife Sarai with him, and his nephew Lot, and all the stuff they owned, all their possessions, all their workers, all their animals, everything. They all left Haran together and set out towards Canaan. It took them a while with all of them, but eventually they got to Canaan and they arrived at a place called Shechem and a great tree of Morah, a local landmark. And God talked to Abram again. "Well done, Abram," said God. "You obeyed and did what I asked you to do. You left your family home and travelled because I told you to, and here you are at Shechem. Therefore, because you obeyed me, I will give you all this land. I will give it to you and your children." "That's amazing," said Abram, who was very pleased. So pleased that he built an altar and he worshipped God right there where God had spoken to him. Sometime later, God talked to Abram again. "I'm still your God, and I'm still great, and you will still be very important and famous and have many children." "Really?" said Abram. "Because it certainly doesn't look like that right now. I know you are God and great, and I believe you, but I still don't have any of the many children you told me about. I'm getting old. My wife is getting old. We don't have any children, and it doesn't look like we will now. In fact, I don't have a proper heir to inherit my possessions and my land and my workers. According to our custom, it will all go to my servant by default when I die." "Oh no," said God. "Your servant won't be the one to inherit your land and your possessions. No, you will have a proper heir, a son of your own who will inherit from you. In fact, go outside your tent on a clear night and look up at the stars. Count them if you can. That's how many children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren you will eventually have." "Well, if you're sure," said Abraham, "because it sounds pretty unbelievable to me right now. But you are God, and I believe you, and I believe it will happen one day." "Excellent," said God, and made a note of how Abraham had believed. And eventually, although he was old and his wife was old, Abram did have a son with his wife Sarai. Their baby boy was called Isaac, and God changed Abram's name to Abraham because it meant father of nations, and his wife became Sarah at the same time. So Abraham and his wife Sarah had a child, and then grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren, just as God had told him.